Okay, today I want to talk about the mysteriousness of eels.
Eels are indeed fascinating creatures. Their mysteriousness often lies in their complex life cycle, especially the European and American eels, which travel thousands of miles to the Sargasso Sea to spawn. What specific aspect of eels interests you the most?
What do you find most interesting?
I find the migration and spawning behavior of eels particularly interesting. It's amazing how they travel from freshwater rivers to the ocean, specifically the Sargasso Sea, to reproduce. This long journey and the fact that their early life stages are still somewhat mysterious make eels quite unique. What about you?
I don't know. I don't know enough about them to know.
No problem. Eels have a lot of fascinating characteristics. For example, did you know that eels can live both in freshwater and saltwater? Their life cycle involves several stages, starting from larvae to glass eels and then to adult eels. They undergo significant changes during their lives, including a long migration for reproduction. Does that spark your interest in any particular aspect?
Sure.
Great. Would you like to learn more about their migration, life cycle, or perhaps their habitat?
Tell me everything.
All right, here's a broad overview of eels and their fascinating life cycle. Eels belong to the Anguillidae family, with the European eel, Anguilla anguilla, and the American eel, Anguilla rostrata, being the most well-known species. 1. Life cycle. Eels have a complex life cycle that includes several distinct stages. Leptocephalus, larval stage. Eels start as transparent, leaf-shaped larvae known as leptocephalae. They drift with ocean currents for about a year. Glass eel. After drifting, they transform into small, transparent eels called glass eels. At this stage, they begin their journey from the ocean to freshwater rivers and estuaries. Elvert. As they enter freshwater, they develop pigmentation and become elvert, looking more like adult eels. Yellow eel. In freshwater, they mature into yellow eels, named for their yellow-brownish coloration. This stage can last for many years, during which they grow and feed. Silver eel. Eventually, they transform into silver eels, developing a metallic sheen and changes in body structure to prepare for their long migration back to the ocean. 2. Migration. One of the most intriguing aspects of eels is their migration. European and American eels travel thousands of miles from their freshwater habitat to the Sargasso Sea in the Atlantic Ocean to spawn. This journey is challenging and requires significant energy. 3. Reproduction. Little is known about their exact breeding behaviors because it occurs deep in the ocean. After spawning, the adult eels die, and their larvae drift back to coastal waters, continuing the cycle. 4. Habitat. Eels are highly adaptable and can be found in a variety of environments, from freshwater rivers and lakes to coastal marine waters. They can even move overland in wet conditions to find new habitat. 5. Diet. Eels are carnivorous, feeding on a variety of prey, including small fish, invertebrates, and insects. They are known to be opportunistic feeders. 6. Conservation. Many eel populations are declining due to factors like habitat loss, overfishing, and barriers to migration such as dams. Conservation efforts are underway to protect these mysterious creatures. Eels' enigmatic life cycle and their long, perilous migrations make them one of the most intriguing animals in the aquatic world. Is there a particular part of this you'd like to delve into more?
Yeah, you said that we don't know much about their breeding, but so scientists can't breed them in captivity?
Breeding eels in captivity has proven to be extremely challenging for scientists. While there have been some successes in inducing spawning in controlled environments, the process is not yet fully understood or efficient. Several reasons contribute to this difficulty. 1. Complex life cycle. Eels undergo significant physiological changes throughout their life cycle, especially during the transition from freshwater to saltwater environments. Replicating these conditions in captivity is complex. 2. Migration requirements. In the wild, eels migrate thousands of miles to their spawning grounds in the Sargasso Sea. This journey is believed to trigger hormonal changes necessary for reproduction. Simulating these long migrations and the associated conditions in captivity is challenging. 3. Reproduction conditions. The specific environmental conditions required for successful spawning and fertilization are not fully understood. Factors such as water temperature, pressure, and salinity likely play crucial roles. Despite these challenges, researchers continue to work on developing methods to breed eels in captivity. Success in this area could significantly contribute to conservation efforts and reduce the pressure on wild populations due to fishing. If you're interested in the efforts being made or the latest advancements, I can look up some recent research on eel breeding in captivity.
No, I'm good. Can I tell me more about how electric eels work?
Electric eels are fascinating creatures known for their ability to generate electric shock. Although they're called eels, they're more closely related to catfish than to true eels. Here's how they generate electricity. 1. Electric organs. Electric eels have specialized electric organs that run along most of their body. These organs are made up of thousands of specialized cells called electrocytes. These cells can generate electricity. 2. Electrocytes. When the electric eel wants to produce a shock, its brain sends a signal through the nervous system to the electrocyte. This causes a sudden change in the balance of ions, positively and negatively charged particles, across the membranes of these cells. 3. Electric potential. Normally, the inside of each electrocyte is negatively charged compared to the outside. When activated, ions flow across the membrane, reversing the charges and creating a positive charge inside. This generates a small electric potential across each electrocyte. 4. Summing the voltages. The electrocytes are arranged in series, like the cells in a battery. The small voltages from many electrocytes add up to produce a large electric potential difference. An electric eel can generate up to 600 volts, which is enough to stun prey or deter predators. 5. Uses of electricity. Electric eels use their electrical abilities for several purposes. Hunting. They use electric shocks to stun or kill prey, making it easier to catch. Descent. Electric shocks can deter predators. Navigation and communication. Electric eels can produce low-voltage electric fields to sense their surroundings and communicate with other eels. The ability to generate electricity is an extraordinary adaptation that helps electric eels survive and thrive in their environment. Does this cover what you were curious about?
You mentioned how they're more like catfish than regular eels. Can you go into that?
Yes. Electric eels, like Trophoros electricus, are indeed more closely related to catfish than to true eels. Here's a bit more detail on that. 1. Taxonomy. True eels belong to the order Anguilliform, which includes the European eel, Anguilla anguilla, and the American eel, Anguilla rostrata. Electric eels, on the other hand, belong to the order Gymnotiform, which also includes knifefish and other electric fish found in South America. This makes them a part of the family Gymnotidae. 2. Physical differences. While they might look similar in shape, electric eels have distinct physical characteristics that set them apart from true eels. They have a long cylindrical body but lack pelvic fins, and their dorsal fin is very small or absent. Instead, they have a long anal fin that runs almost the length of their body, which they use for movement. 3. Habitat and behavior. Electric eels are native to the freshwaters of the Amazon and Orinoco basins in South America. They are adapted to living in murky, slow-moving waters, where they use their electrical abilities to navigate, hunt, and communicate. True eels, on the other hand, are found in various environments, including oceans and rivers, and have different breeding and migration behaviors. 4. Electric abilities. While true eels do not possess electric organs, electric eels and their relatives in the Gymnotiform order have specialized organs that can generate electricity. This ability is a key adaptation for their survival in their specific habitat. So, despite their similar appearance, electric eels are quite different from true eels in terms of their taxonomy, physical traits, and behavior. This distinction highlights the diversity and specialization found within aquatic species.
How do they sense electricity to communicate with each other?
Electric eels, along with other electric fish, use a fascinating system to sense electricity and communicate with each other. This involves specialized cells and organs that can detect electric fields. Here's how it works. 1. Electroreception. Electric eels have specialized sensory cells called electroreceptors, which are distributed over their skin. These cells are sensitive to electric fields and can detect even very weak electrical signals. 2. Electric field. When an electric eel generates low-voltage electric pulses, these pulses create an electric field around the eel. This field can be disturbed by objects or other fish in the environment. 3. Communication. Electric eels produce different types of electric pulses for different purposes. For example, short high-frequency pulses are often used for navigation and echolocation, detecting objects, while longer, lower frequency pulses are used for communication with other eels. 4. Detecting signals. The electroreceptors on the eel's skin pick up changes in the electric field caused by these pulses. By interpreting these changes, an eel can detect nearby objects, prey, and other eels. This ability helps them navigate through their often murky habitat where visibility is low. 5. Social interactions. Electric eels can communicate with each other using their electric pulses. They can convey information about their presence, dominance, or reproductive status through variations in the frequency, amplitude, and pattern of their electric signal. This electrosensory system is highly efficient and allows electric eels to thrive in environments where other sensory systems might be less effective. It's an excellent example of how organisms adapt to their specific ecological niches.
Do scientists have any insight on how this started from an evolutionary basis?
Yes. Scientists have some insight into the evolutionary basis of electric organs in electric fish, including electric eels. The evolution of electric organs is a fascinating example of convergent evolution, where similar traits evolve independently in different lineages. Here's a summary of current understanding. 1. Evolutionary origin. Electric organs in electric fish are believed to have evolved from muscle cells. Muscle cells generate small electrical potentials during contraction, and over evolutionary time, some of these cells have been modified to amplify this ability and generate stronger electric fields. 2. Gene duplication and modification. Research indicates that gene duplication and subsequent modification played a significant role in the evolution of electric organs. Genes that originally coded for muscle proteins were duplicated, and some of these duplicates acquired mutations that enabled the cells to specialize in generating electricity rather than contracting. 3. Multiple independent evolution. Electric organs have evolved independently multiple times in different groups of fish, including electric eels in South America and electric rays in the ocean. This suggests that having an electric organ can provide significant survival advantages in various environments. 4. Selective pressures. The development of electric organs likely provided several adaptive advantages, such as enhanced prey detection and capture, navigation in dark or murky water, and communication with conspecific. These advantages would have exerted selective pressure that favored the evolution of electric organs. 5. Intermediate steps. It's hypothesized that the evolution of electric organs involved intermediate steps, where fish might have initially used weak electric fields for basic navigation and prey detection. Over time, as the benefits of stronger electric fields became apparent, natural selection would have driven the enhancement of these organs. 6. Comparative studies. By comparing the genomes and physiology of electric fish with non-electric fish, scientists have identified key genetic changes and cellular modifications involved in the evolution of electric organs. These studies help trace the evolutionary pathways that led to the current diversity of electric fish. While there are still many details to uncover, the research so far provides a compelling picture of how complex traits, like electric organs, can evolve through a combination of genetic changes, natural selection, and environmental pressures.
You mentioned electric rays. What kind of other animals generate electric fields?
Several types of animals produce electricity, primarily for navigation, communication, hunting, or defense. Here are some notable examples. 1. Electric rays. Found in the family Torpedinidae, these marine animals can generate powerful electric shocks to stun prey or defend themselves. They have large electric organs located in their pectoral fin. 2. Electric catfish. Belonging to the family Melapteridae, these freshwater fish are found in Africa. They can generate electric shock to hunt prey and for defense. 3. Electric knifefish. These fish, including species like the black ghost knifefish, belong to the families Apteronatidae and Gymnotidae. They produce weak electric fields for navigation and communication in murky water. 4. Elephant fish. Found in Africa, these fish belong to the family Mormyridae. They generate weak electric fields used primarily for electrolocation and communication. They are known for their high brain-to-body mass ratio, suggesting complex behaviors and communication. 5. Stargazers. These marine fish, part of the family Uranoscophidae, have electric organs derived from modified eye muscles. They use electric shocks to stun prey and deter predators. 6. Platypus. Although not generating electric fields in the same way as fish, The platypus, a monotreme mammal, has electroreceptors in its bill. These receptors help it detect the electric field generated by the muscle contractions of its prey in the water. 7. Sharks and rays. Many species of sharks and rays have specialized organs called ampullae of Lorenzini, which detect electric fields. They use these electroreceptors to locate prey by sensing the electrical signals produced by the muscle contractions and movements of their prey. These examples highlight the diverse ways animals have evolved to use electricity, showcasing a fascinating aspect of natural adaptation and survival strategies.
How do electric eels and rays prevent from stunning themselves when they let off a electric shock?
Electric eels and rays have specialized adaptations that prevent them from stunning themselves when they discharge electric shocks. Here's how they manage it. 1. Electric organs location. The electric organs in electric eels and rays are typically located in specific parts of their body, often in regions that are well insulated and isolated from their vital organs. This strategic placement helps minimize the impact of the electric discharge on their own tissues. 2. Insulation. These electric organs are surrounded by layers of insulating tissue that prevent the electric current from spreading to other parts of their body. This insulation helps direct the electric current outward toward their target rather than back through their own body. 3. Controlled discharge. Electric eels and rays have a high degree of control over their electric organs, allowing them to direct the electric shock precisely. They can modulate the intensity and duration of the discharge, ensuring it is focused on the prey or threat and not on themselves. 4. Specialized skin. Their skin is often less conductive, which helps prevent the electric current from flowing back into their own body. This adaptation, combined with their insulating tissues, provides additional protection against self-electrocution. 5. Behavioral adaptations. Electric eels and rays typically use their electric shocks in specific contexts, such as when they are in close proximity to prey or when threatened by predators. They often position themselves in ways that minimize the risk of self-stunning, such as directing the shock away from their own bodies. These adaptations work together to ensure that electric eels and rays can effectively use their electric abilities for hunting and defense without harming themselves. This intricate system is a remarkable example of evolutionary specialization.
Could one electric eel shock another electric eel?
Yes, an electric eel can shock another electric eel. While electric eels have adaptations to protect themselves from their own electric discharges, they do not have the same protection against shock from other eels. When one electric eel discharges, the electric field it generates can affect nearby eels, especially if they are within the range of the discharge. Electric eels might use electric shock during interactions with each other, such as in territorial disputes or mating behaviors. However, they typically try to avoid shocking each other unnecessarily. The shock can be quite powerful and potentially harmful, so eels are generally cautious about discharging electricity around others of their kind. Their ability to detect electric fields also helps them navigate and communicate in their environment, allowing them to be aware of each other's presence and possibly avoid conflict.
Does the intensity of the shock depend on the size of the eel?
Yes. The intensity of the shock produced by an electric eel generally depends on the size of the eel. Larger electric eels have more electrocytes in their electric organs, which allows them to generate more substantial electric discharges. Here's how it works. 1. Number of electrocytes. Larger eels have a greater number of electrocytes, which are the specialized cells that generate electric pulses. More electrocytes mean a higher cumulative voltage and stronger electric shock. 2. Size of electric organs. As eels grow, their electric organs also increase in size, allowing them to produce more powerful discharges. The larger the organ, the more capacity it has to store and release electrical energy. 3. Voltage and current. The voltage of the shock can be higher in larger eels, and the current amount of electrical charge can also be greater. Both factors contribute to the overall intensity of the shock. In summary, larger electric eels can produce more intense shock due to the increased number and size of their electrocytes and electric organs. This increased electrical power can be used for more effective hunting, defense, and communication.
Can you give me some stats on the voltage and amperage that some of the larger eels can put off?
Certainly, Electric eels are capable of producing impressive electrical discharges. Here are some key stats on the voltage and amperage that large electric eels can generate. 1. Voltage. Large electric eels can produce electric shocks of up to 600 volts. This high voltage is used primarily for stunning prey and deterring predators. 2. Current. Amperage. The current produced by electric eels is typically in the range of 1 ampere. While this may seem low compared to the high voltage, it's sufficient to deliver a powerful shock. To put this into perspective, the combination of high voltage and moderate current can deliver a significant amount of electrical power, making the shock from a large electric eel potentially dangerous and highly effective for its purposes. The electric discharge can stun or even kill small prey and serve as a strong deterrent against predators. These stats highlight the remarkable capabilities of electric eels and their specialized adaptations for generating and using electricity in their natural habitat.
It's hard to imagine without actually being shocked by one. Like, how do they compare to just regular tasers that you would buy in the store?
Comparing the electric shock of an electric eel to a standard consumer taser can help put their capabilities into perspective. Here's a breakdown. 1. Voltage. Electric eel up to 600 volts. Consumer taser typically ranges from 50,000 to 100,000 volts, but it can go higher depending on the model. 2. Current amperage. Electric eel around 1 ampere. Consumer taser usually delivers a much lower current, around 2 to 4 milliamperes, and is of 0.2 to 0.04 amperes. 3. Power and effect. Electric eel. The shock from an electric eel combines high voltage with a relatively high current. This combination allows the eel to deliver a substantial amount of electrical power, which can stun or incapacitate prey and deter predators. Tasers deliver a very high voltage, but with a very low current. The high voltage is designed to penetrate clothing and disrupt the muscle and nerve function of a person temporarily. Despite the higher voltage, the low current is generally considered safer for causing temporary incapacitation without long-term harm. In summary, while tasers have much higher voltages compared to electric eels, the current they deliver is significantly lower. The high current in electric eel shocks is what makes them particularly powerful in terms of their biological effect. This high current, combined with their significant voltage, allows electric eels to effectively stun or incapacitate their target, similar to how tasers disrupt muscle control, but with different underlying electrical properties.
So, what is the differing effects?
The differing effects between the shock from an electric eel and a consumer taser largely stem from their different voltage and current characteristics. 1. Electric eel. High voltage and higher current. Electric eels can generate.
Right. I understand that, but if you were to get shocked by one, what is the difference in how it feels and how it affects your body?
If you were to experience a shock from an electric eel versus a taser, the sensations and effects on your body would differ significantly due to the variations in voltage and current. Here's what you might expect. 1. Electric eel shock. Sensation. A shock from an electric eel can feel like a powerful jolt or a sudden, intense pain. It may feel similar to a severe electric shock from a high voltage source. Immediate effect. The high current and significant voltage can cause your muscles to contract strongly and involuntarily, potentially causing temporary paralysis or immobilization. This can lead to a feeling of being stunned or unable to move for a short period. Biological impact. The higher current can affect your heart and respiratory muscles if the shock is sustained or if you have underlying health issues. The shock can be disorienting and painful, with effects that might include muscle soreness, localized burns, or temporary loss of function in affected limbs. 2. Taser shock. Sensation. A taser shock generally feels like an intense, sharp pain, accompanied by a tingling or burning sensation. The pain is often described as severe, but temporary. Immediate effects. The taser's high voltage causes your muscles to contract involuntarily and uncontrollably. This results in temporary incapacitation, making it difficult or impossible to move while the taser is active, usually a few seconds. You may fall to the ground and be unable to coordinate your movement. Biological impact. The low current of a taser minimizes the risk of lasting harm. The primary effect is on skeletal muscles, not the heart or internal organs. After the taser stops discharging, normal muscle function typically returns quickly, though there may be lingering pain, muscle soreness, or minor burns at the contact point. In summary, while both an electric eel shock and a taser shock can be painful and incapacitating, the eel shock is more likely to cause a deeper, more widespread effect due to its higher current, potentially leading to more severe biological impact. A taser, designed for temporary incapacitation, focuses on high voltage with low current to safely subdue a person without long-term harm.
Okay, this has been actually really interesting. Before we go today, can you tell me like one really cool, interesting thing about electric eels that you don't think I would know?
Sure. One really cool and lesser known fact about electric eels is that they can use their electric abilities to remote control their prey. Electric eels can emit a series of rapid high voltage pulses that cause the muscles of nearby fish to twitch involuntarily. This involuntary muscle movement forces hidden prey to reveal themselves by moving, making it easier for the eel to locate and capture them. This technique, known as electroreception induced twitching, showcases the electric eel's remarkable ability to use electricity not only for hunting and defense, but also to manipulate the behavior of other animals. It's a fascinating example of how electric eels have evolved to exploit their unique biological capabilities to survive and thrive in their environment.
That's pretty gnarly.
It really is. Electric eels are truly remarkable creatures with some incredible adaptations. If you have any more questions or want to dive into another interesting topic, feel free to reach out anytime.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Have a great day.